Gotta give it a good smack. Pork butt is one of the easiest things you're ever gonna barbecue, like most of the things on my channel. And the reason is you don't have to do much. You don't have to trim it, it's ready to go. This is a bone-in pork butt, which I definitely recommend. That way, not only do you get that satisfying bone pull at the end, which is mostly just for the fun, but it also kind of keeps everything nice and compact together. If you happen to have a boneless one, that's okay. But today, we're doing bone-in. It's very easy to prepare. So you got this nice fat cap on the top. We're just gonna score this. I like to do the crosshatch pattern. Boom. Now you're ready to season. So a lot of people in Texas especially like to use that mustard binder when they do this. I'm not doing a mustard binder. You can, it's all good. I'm going to use a little bit of an olive oil binder to see how that goes. I love you, Texas, you're the best. And I'm gonna use this to create that little adhesion, but if you don't have the binder, it's no problem. Just season it up, it's pork, it's gonna take it. Now, I'm gonna do a very simple rub today. I'm gonna use my favorite of the 60-40 mix of kosher salt and coarse ground black pepper. I just mixed it up. I keep it mixed up at all times, ready to go. And we're gonna use this like very, very generously on the pork butt. Pork can take a lot of seasoning. And because this is a real thick cut, I like to put a lot on there because like you really wanna get that good penetration. You know, there's arguably it doesn't go past that, but I prefer to be pretty generous with it. Pork takes the seasoning really, really well. And so I find that people don't often salt their pork enough when they're doing a big cut like this. So I am very generous on my pork seasoning. Now, the other thing I'm going to do on this one, don't forget your sides, because if you do, Bradley will visit your house personally and kick your ass, it's happened to me. It's not cool. Bradley, I got my sides done, all right? So today is very easy. I'm gonna get, again, very generous on this. You can see that I've got a nice good coating of the salt and pepper on there. I'm gonna use my favorite Traeger poultry seasoning. It'll give it a nice little bit of color and just a touch of the apple and honey flavoring, which I like. Now, again, you know, I've said before, I prefer a much more savory to a sweet, but sometimes that sweet has a really nice caramelizing flavor, and I really enjoy that. So I'm gonna give a generous portion of the Traeger seasoning as well. Now that I've gotten all my sides, I'm gonna do some, and I will get my top side too, I'm gonna do some granulated honey, Lane's Barbecue granulated honey. This stuff is awesome. So again, I'm gonna do some, I'm not gonna go crazy because I don't want it to be an entirely sweet dish, but this stuff is amazing. And I will often take handfuls of this and just shove it in my mouth because it's so delicious. So a nice little coating here, help with that, you know, that kind of like meat and sweet kind of flavor, that savory sweet. Pork butt is also one of the things that is really great if you are first trying out a new smoker. If you've got a new offset, if you've got a gravity fed, you've got a pit barrel, whatever you've got, these are really great for that because they're so forgiving. Pork is one of the best things to use for trying out a new grill, getting used to the equipment, because it can really take a beating and still turn out to be a very delicate and intense meat. It's very, very good. So again, we're gonna finish off the top layer now that we've scored. We've got some olive oil binder on there. We've got our generous portion of salt and pepper. We've already got the sides. We're gonna do our Traeger rub. And finally, granulated honey. And that's it, you can see, very easy, not a lot of trimming, if any. Score, season, now let's get it on the pit. All right, pork butt is in, center shelf. Now this cooker tends to cook things very well, but also a little bit quicker. And based on what I've kind of experienced so far, I'm gonna cook this at 300 degrees today for the next couple of hours. So we'll check it at about 2 hours, see how we're doing, see if we need to spray, see what the internal temperature is like, just to kind of continue to get a feel for what this smoker does and how it acts. Now, I love this smoker so far. It makes the best ribs I've ever had. It's very, very stable in its temperature control, very easy to maintain. And it really does provide that balance of what I wanted between my Traeger and my offset, which is where I get a lot of really good smoky flavor with a lot less time management than the offset. So to quickly outline what I've done, I got regular charcoal briquettes in here. I haven't felt the need to try lump charcoal. Everyone basically says that it's better to use the briquettes, so I have that. regular Kingsford blue bag, no big deal there. I'm going to, I've got several wood chunks in there. After a couple of attempts between the briskets and the ribs, I basically put like 4 or 5 chunks of wood in like the catch. So that way I get a lot of good smoky flavor. The charcoal obviously gives you a great smoky flavor on its own, but I like to add the wood chunks. Today I'm using pecan because I love pecan and it's what I had. From the smoker perspective, everything's tight. I got it open about halfway on the ball valve, full chimney of charcoal, 300 degrees. We'll check it in 2 hours, and if we need to, we'll start to spray, but at least we can see how it's doing, you know, with like something like a pork butt in there. So we'll see it in about 2.5 hours. All right, so the pork's been going for about 2.5 hours. Now we want to open it up, see what kind of bark is forming, what kind of color we're getting, see how the fat is doing. Obviously, I'm not anticipating it being anywhere near being wrap time after only 2.5 hours, but we'll see what it looks like and see what we need to do next. Let's see if we need to spray. Let's open her up. Oh yeah. Look at that color. Okay, that looks amazing. Obviously not ready, but look at that bark forming. Look at that color. I'm not seeing a lot of dryness. Now I did put the bone towards the hotter side, which would be like where the, you know, the coal pit is. So that's there. Fat is rendering along nicely. You can see how that's doing. It's not ready yet. We wanted to kind of push in like Jello, but we are getting a nice tenderness to it. The meat's still very hard, which is to be expected. But let's just, out of curiosity, see what kind of temperature we're getting. 146, all right, and as expected, it's cooking quick. That's 169. All right, so we want this side over here to get a little bit more heat. 152, all right. For kicks and giggles, I'm gonna flip it around to see if that impacts the cooking at all. I anticipate this side being hotter. Ouch, that's hot. Okay, yep. I don't think we need to spray yet, so let's put it in and we'll check on it in another hour. Let's see how we're doing, but so far, so good. This looks awesome. Okay, so it's been about 3.5 hours, and the cooker cooks very well, but I am a little bit nervous to see what the temperature is since we were so high last time. Nervous being a relative term, we'll make it work. So the reason why I'm concerned is that sometimes if it cooks too fast, pork, you know, it really needs a long time to tenderize and to get really tender for you to shred it, especially on a pork butt. So, you know, pork is a wonderfully resilient meat, but also you really want it to be nice and tender. So let's take a look at it, see where we're at, and see what our next steps are going to be, whether it's to leave it on for a little bit longer, or go ahead and wrap it up, get it in some foil, let it finish cooking, and then give it enough time to rest and kind of soften up the rest of the way. So let's take a quick look inside. Oh yeah, look at that. That is amazing. All right, so now it's time to do some checks. Let's first check the temperature. Actually, let's check that fat. Woo, baby, that's getting nice. Yes. Oh my goodness, that feels so perfect. All right, so we're coming in at 176 there. 186, that's feeling real tender. I'm actually very surprised. 178, 182. All right, I think that this should wrap. That fat is just, I mean, pouring out juices. It's got that nice split there, that's how you know. Check that. Yeah, 170. Okay, so let's wrap this guy and let's get him back in 300 degrees for the rest of the cook. Now, one thing I suggest before you wrap anything is to have everything ready to go so that your meat isn't out of the heat that long. I don't want my meat to cool down at this point. I want it to stay nice and hot and to continue cooking. So I'm gonna get it out and I'm already ready to go. The wind was high, so I had to put a glove out here and the torch to hold everything down. But I'm gonna move it all, get the meat out of the smoker, and right here. We're doing very good on the cooking, so I wanna continue that. The other thing really quick is that you can continue to cook your meat wrapped in any smoker that you use. Or if you're cooking at home, you can actually just stick it in the oven once it's wrapped. The smoke isn't going to penetrate anymore, so you just need the heat. You just need the BTU. So you can either continue it on your smoker, whichever one you have, or just put it in the oven, save yourself the fuel, save yourself the fire management, whatever you want to do. So today I'm going to do that. I'm going to wrap this. I've got an event happening tonight, so I've got more stuff to get in the smoker, so I need the chamber space. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one, stick it in the oven, and continue to cook at 300 degrees. So let's get that guy out of the smoker and into the foil. All right, double layer of foil. We're gonna wrap it just like we would the brisket. My goodness, the color on this is amazing. All right, I'm gonna put this in the oven, fat side up, meat side down. That way any of the juices and everything will continue to heat up the pork around the bottom. So, and keep it nice and moist and tender. So let's get this in the oven and continue to cook. Okay, after I wrapped it, I put it in the oven at 300. Again, didn't need the smoke, it's in foil. So I let that go for about an hour and a half, a little bit like maybe an hour and 45 minutes or so. And then it became like 205, 207, super tender, really ready to try it out, feels great. So then I took it out, let it cool down to about 170, and then I rested it for about an hour. So I'm running out of time. I would like just a little bit more time to kind of let that thing come to temp. But now is the moment of truth. Let's see how the gravity-fed offset did. Cooked a lot faster than I anticipated, about 6 hours or so. So let's see, and we'll pull it now. All right, the fat feels nice and good. Let's check that out. Let's see if we can do the ultimate test and see if the bone comes out clean. Not bad, not bad. I mean, it had a little bit of give in the end there, but like it just fell off the bone. I didn't have to like peel that off or shred it. So far so good. Now we have to try it to make sure that it's actually good before we pull it. So let's get some of that money meat over here, as I think I've heard it's called. All right, the fat looks amazing. Got a decent smoke ring, and it's super tender. So let's give it a shot. Oh man, that is phenomenal. There's a lot going on, but it's all delicious. It's salty, it's smoky, it's tender. It's got a pretty decent smoke ring on there now that I'm looking at it again. All right, it's very difficult as you can see. It's just coming apart in my hands. This is great. Wow. Okay, I was a little nervous because it cooked more quickly than I'm accustomed to for this. This is usually like a 9 to 11 hour cook or so. But this just came right apart and in my hands, and it's very juicy. The rest is critical. If you open it immediately, it's just gonna dry out your meat. You're not gonna get that delicious flavor that you're looking for. It's just gonna dry out. By letting it rest, you really lock in all those juices and seasonings. And this is really good. So when I talk about, like this is the center of the meat right here. No real bark or crust. When I talked earlier about having that, pretty aggressive seasoning on there. It wasn't overkill, but it really penetrated all the way to the center of the cut. Now, the cool thing about the gravity-fed offset is that because you don't have that crazy airflow like the way you do in an offset smoker, you're not having to worry so much about like the burning. So I've got some like caramelized pieces here of the skin, of the fat, but nothing burned, nothing got too crazy, nothing got like crispy or like in the bad way. Nothing is dried out. This is just like some moist, delicious meat. It's the perfect consistency of what you want in some pulled pork. So as far as barbecue pulled pork goes, once again, the gravity-fed offset really does win the day. I think the only thing I would do probably next time is let it rest just a little bit longer, but I'm kind of running out of time. So I did pull it early, but I mean, just again, all right, look how deep that smoke ring is on that piece. And then if you look here, you can see all that is smoke ring. Now, I added a lot of wood, as I mentioned, because I wanted that smoky flavor, and it's really coming through. So this is delicious. I hope that it worked out for you. If you try it, let me know. But this is a real win. It's my first time doing a pulled pork butt on the charcoal gravity fed, and I'm just thrilled. With these leftovers, there's tons of stuff you can do. We're gonna show some of those things in a future video. Thanks for coming, good luck, and I'll talk to you soon.